Today we are going to study about big data. The first topic is big data meets Hadoop. So before that, we must know what do you mean by big data? So we know organizations are producing data at an increasing rate. It is reported that Facebook alone collects 250 terabytes a day. What do you mean by terabyte? It means 10 raised to 12. So the Facebook itself collects 250 terabytes a day, and according to Thomson Reuters News Analytics, retail data is produced has more than doubled from almost 1 million petabyte. But petabyte means 10 raised to 15. And in 2009, it is said that the data has projected to 7.9 zettabytes. Zettabyte means 10 raised to 21. And by 2015, it is estimated that 35 zettabytes of data is produced. So each day the data is producing, and as organizations have begun to collect and produce mass amounts of data, they have recognized the advantages of data analysis. But they have also struggled to manage the massive amount of information they have. This has led to new challenges. How can you effectively store such a massive quantity of data, or how can you effectively process it? How can you analyze this data in an efficient manner? These all are we are studying in big data processing. So the next topic in our module is big data meets Hadoop. Before that, we know what is big data. The big data has been used to describe data sets that are so large that typical and traditional means of data storage, management, search, analytics, and other processing has become a challenge. Big data is characterized by the magnitude of detailed information that can come from many sources and data formats, and data that can be processed and analyzed to find insights and patterns used to make informed decisions. So big data means it is used to describe data sets that are so large. There are many challenges that big data is facing. One is analyzing big data requires a lot of storage and large computations that demand a great deal of processing power. And these machines should have more storage, processing power, and memory. But data analytic solutions were often complicated, error-prone, or simply not fast enough. These are the challenges that the big data is facing. Before that, we have to know what is the history of this big data analytics. The first thing is that in 2002, a project called the Nudge, Doug Cutting and Michael Caffarella were struggling with a solution processing a vast amount of information. Releasing the storage and processing demands for Nudge, they knew that they would need a reliable distributed computing approach that would scale to the demand of the vast amount of website data that the tool would be collecting. That is the first history, because in 2002 a project called Nudge was developed in that they need large amount of data, and they face the challenge to how to process this vast amount of data. Then a year later, Google published papers on Google file system and MapReduce, an algorithm and distributed programming platform for processing large data sets. And recognizing the promise of these approaches used by the Google for distributed processing and storage over a cluster of machines, Cutting and Caffarella used this work as the basis of building the distributed platform for Nudge, resulting in what we know as the Hadoop distributed file system and Hadoop implementation of MapReduce. Then after 2000, in 2006, after struggling with the same big data challenges related to the indexing massive amount of information for a search engine, Yahoo hired Doug Cutting and quickly decided to adopt Hadoop as its distributed framework for solving a search engine challenges. Yahoo spun out the storage, and processing parts of Natch to form Hadoop as an open source Apache project, and Natch WebCrawler remained its own separate project. So these are the history of how we came to big data. So in this video, we told about big data. What is big data? How the big data meets Hadoop, and what is the challenges the big data facing, and what is the history of big data.